This presentation is on the feasibility of improving the bus system by Gabriel Gonzalez, Emma Langer, Brooke Long, and Eric Poe. In a recent survey of Miami University students, 80.6% of them responded that they have experienced the BCRTA bus service being late. With only 85.3% of the students using the bus system, we want that number to increase. While 4.2% of students say they ride the bus system frequently, 29.2% say that they do not take the bus system because it is unreliable, one of the most widely accepted complaints. The students at Miami University responded to this survey saying that the buses are late and that they would ride them more if they were more reliable. This feasibility study is looking at options which would make the buses more reliable and make students want to ride them more.
Overview of alternatives. Some of the alternatives that we came up with is to cut stop locations, implement an app to track the bus, adding time to each bus stop, and add more buses, and to do nothing. By cutting down the bus stops, the buses will move faster through the routes. Though the students will have to meet in a certain location, it will allow the buses to move faster through their location. By implementing an app, the students will be able to track where the buses are in real time and not have to wonder if their bus has already gone or it's not here yet. Another thing is to add more time to each bus route or bus stop. This will allow the students to know for certain at which that the bus could be there at a given time. Adding more buses will allow the bus service to create more routes or make the routes shorter or go faster by implementing more buses in a specific route or adding routes to different locations. And the final alternative is to do nothing and to leave the system as it is right now.
Our group came up with a collection of criteria to help us navigate the identification and selection of possible solutions. First, an ideal solution should allow riders to plan their day around reliable bus usage, which requires a higher level of consistency. Second, it should give riders knowledge of each bus's whereabouts, which would allow riders to spend less time waiting for the bus. Third, it should come at a reasonable upfront and annual cost. And finally, riders should feel a reasonable level of safety while waiting for buses. Especially in the evening, waiting for the bus for extended periods can make riders uneasy, which is a scenario that ought to be avoided whenever possible. Three main methods were used to find the most appropriate solution. The first was an opinion poll of a sample of Miami students, the second was a written correspondence with BCRTA, and the third was consultation with DoubleMap, which is a veteran company in the bus tracking industry.
Evaluation of alternatives. The first alternative to be considered is shortening the routes. This would cause a bus to stop at each stop more frequently, giving students more opportunities to catch a bus. However, this might mean students are forced to ride more buses in order to reach their destination, and some stops might be cut from routes altogether. Another alternative would be to add more buses, which would remedy the problem in a similar way to shortening the routes. This could be costly for Butler County and possibly Miami University, though. Increasing the time given to a bus to reach each stop is another possible solution, because if the buses had more time between stops, they would be less likely to be late. This would mean, though, that overall the buses would make fewer stops, which could also pose a problem for students. Another alternative is to implement an app like DoubleMap, which allows students to track the buses in real time. This would enable students to know if a bus was running late and when the next bus was coming. The only real downside to this alternative is that it could be costly to implement for Butler County. A final alternative would be to do nothing, which, while it would not cost anything for Butler County, would still leave the students unhappy with the bus system. In conclusion, we suggest adding a GPS locator on buses and providing an app for students to see bus locations. In a recent survey, 93.5% of Miami University students said that they would use an app that tracked where the bus was in real time, and 86.7% of students said that the bus system needs improvement by adding a GPS locator to each bus.